Oh my gosh. Welcome back to the Lumios Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon. Um, wow, I am floored. For those who don't know, for some reason, Pokemon Legends ZA was just announced, which obviously is going to be in the same kind of series as Pokemon Legends Arceus, which was a game that was incredible and beloved by many. Um, I'm I'm floored. I'm flabbergasted. I'm confused, but all in a good way. If you didn't see, my name is the Lumios Post. So I'm a big Kalos fan. I've had that Kalos poster. I didn't put that up for this. That's always been there. I'm a big Kalos fan. Those are games that got me through a really tough period of my life. I was 13 years old, or about to be 13 when it comes up. Middle school sucks. Middle school kids are mean. You know the whole drill. So those games got me through a lot. So the fact that we're getting another installment in the Kalos saga is very interesting, and it looks to be a sequel because Legends Arceus was set in the past, right? So it was a prequel. In a way, it was a sequel because you're playing a character who was sent back in time. Time is confusing, but no, Pokemon Legends ZA is going to be set in the modern day, I would assume, because it's talking about Lumiose City redevelopment plan and all this. So yeah, I would say it's set in the future. Typically, you see with Pokemon games that they do, like, for example, Black 2 and White 2. It's a sequel to Black and White. It takes place 2 years after Black and White because it came out 2 years after Black and White did. The Johto games take place 3 years after Kanto because they came out 3 years after the Kanto games did. So the fact that this is coming out in 2025, that's the announcement date for it, or the release date for it is 2025, not this year. The fact that's coming out in 2025 and we got Kalos in 2013 makes me think that there's a good chance that this game is going to be set 12 years after the events of Pokemon X and Y, because, you know, that's how they've done in the past. You know, they kind of coordinated it to real time, and it makes sense. A lot can happen in 12 years, you know. I don't know who all lives in Florida, but the Florida Everglades is getting, like, new animals all the time, because invasive species is a very real problem. And it's really quick, however, how quickly an animal can take over an environment. I say that to say the Kalos region could have changed a lot. It also could have some new Pokemon in it. You know, the Legends Arceus dex was a little bit different from Sinnoh's dex. It was missing a few Pokemon, like, man, I can't think of an example of one that was not in it. I think the Meditite line was not in Hisui, even though it is in modern-day Sinnoh. But even aside from that, there were Pokemon added into the dex, like Vulpix was not previously in the Diamond and Pearl or Platinum dex. Spheal was also not, and Paris was also not, but they were in the Hisui dex. Also, of course, the regional variants, things like Hisui and Gudra, and evolutions to Pokemon like Ursaluna or Weirdeer. I do think we'll get that. I also think that these are just my initial thoughts. I want to do a much larger breakdown video later in the week when I've had more time to process this. But these are just my initial thoughts on it. Legends games, we only have one to compare it to, so anything could change, right? Like, previously we thought Legends games were only set in the past. Well, this one's clearly not set in the past, so that's different. But the last Legends game gave us different starters. Like, it gave us Cyndaquil, Oshawott, and Rowlet, which were not only different from Sinnoh's usual starter lineup, Chimchar, Piplup, and Turtwig, but also were different because all of these starters were from different regions. Oshawott was from Unova, Cyndaquil was from Johto, and Rowlet was from Alola. So there's a chance that we could see that again. If that happens again, I don't think we'll see regional variants for those evolved forms. I think instead we would see mega evolutions for those evolved forms. So, like, if hypothetically the star lineup is Totodile, Turtwig, and Scorbunny, I think we would see a mega for Alligator, a mega Torterra, and a mega Cinderace. Because we did also get the reveal that Mega Evolution is returning. This is also interesting because there's a lot of Pokemon that got Mega Evolutions after Kalos. They got it in Oris, and some of these Pokemon were not in the Kalos dex. So, like, for example, the Hoenn starters. So I could very much see Kalos now incorporating those Pokemon into their decks as well, so that you can get access to their Mega Evolutions as well. There's not, you know, a ton of Mega Evolutions, especially when you factor in that the amount of Pokemon has, you know, increased in hundreds since the last Kalos game. So I feel like they're going to want all Mega Evolutions to be accessible. I also do think they'll add new ones. I think we'll probably see more new ones than we will, new Megas than we will regional forms or evolutions even. But I'm really excited. I'm very, very excited. It coming out in 2025 is a double-edged sword, right? Like, on the one hand, it's upsetting because that's a long time. But on the other hand, they're giving it the time it needs, right? They're not rushing a game out. You know, if they had said 2024, I'd know that the internet would be like, oh, they're rushing it. It's going to be bad. It's going to look like Scarlet and Violet. But the fact that they're giving it to 2025 makes me think that, you know, they're taking their time on this. There's so many thoughts on this. I don't know what time you're watching this, but I am going to be at like 2 o'clock live with Hidden Power, talking more about the games, giving our initial thoughts. But yeah, I did want to give these quick thoughts. Some more quick thoughts I have. It looks to me like in the trailer, you can see that trailer. Can we even really call it that? There was no gameplay footage or anything, but in the trailer, we see a lot of Pokemon around. It shows in the canal. There's like a Gyarados, Dragonair, Staryu, Magikarp. That previously wasn't a thing in Lumio City. Then there was, you see where the Aegislash and Sylveon are battling. There's a Crocodile with a little family of Sandile with it, which I thought, that's really weird that they're, you know, they just got some Pokemon just chilling right there in the middle of the city, like it with its family, seemingly wild Pokemon. And Crocodile, of all things, a Pokemon that lives in the desert. You know, it's not like a wild Garbodor or bird Pokemon or something. It's a Crocodile. So, I think that what's going to happen is this Lumio City urban redevelopment plan. I think they're going to be adding biomes into Lumio City. So, like, the little plazas that we saw in X and Y would now be turned into, like, little biomes. So, like, there might be a little patch of desert, and you can find, you know, Crocodile, Hippopotas, some desert Pokemon there. You know, maybe a little pond area where you can find Poliwhirl and Magikarp and all. You know, et cetera, et cetera. There were 5 plazas, I believe, and when it zooms out from the map, it shows 5, like, circular areas throughout Lumio City. I would bet that those 5 circular areas are 5, like, they're going to be biomes, so that you can catch Pokemon in Lumio City. You also do see this girl, like, chuck a Pokeball at a Dragonair. So I do think that's the confirmation that Legends Arceus style catching will be back. So that's really neat. You know, this, like I said, this doesn't give us a ton to go off of, right? But it does give us, you know, something. Dear God, we've got a new Legends installment, which is more than I could have ever dreamed of. I personally thought the Legends games were done, but here they are. They're back. I thought it would be a one-off thing, you know. I hoped that they would continue it, but I didn't think they would. But they are. I do hope we get some battling in it, like player versus player battling. It is modern day Pokemon, so I kind of feel like they can't excuse it as much. I'm also curious, you know, will Pokemon still attack you? There's a lot of questions around it. Obviously, it's surrounding around Zygarde, and the interesting thing about Zygarde is tied to environments, right, and the ecosystem. Zygarde's like supposed to balance that all out. And so if a city is redeveloping, you can see how that would get in the way of that. So I think we're going to see some heavy conservation themes in this game. Perhaps, you know, that awakens Zygarde and angers it. I don't know, but I'm really excited for it. I do think there'll be new Mega Evolutions. I do hope there'll be new forms and new regular evolutions, but I'm gonna be honest, I feel like if you're doing new Mega Evolutions, new regular evolutions might be a little irrelevant. That's what I worry. But then again, Mega Evolutions typically add 100 points, you know, scattered around, of course, to a Pokemon's base stat total. So if you have a Pokemon that's really, really weak, like the first one that pops into my head is Spidops from Scarlet and Violet, then it might benefit Spidops to give it an evolution and then let that evolution Mega Evolve, because giving 100 base stat points to Spidops honestly probably is not going to help it that much. So giving it an evolution and then so it gets an added stat bonus, and then that evolution Mega Evolves and gets 100 base stats total change, then that would be a different story, right? So yeah, I do think there'll be new Mega Evolutions. I really hope there'll be new regional forms. this, I don't know. It looks like this is still called the Kalos Region 2, so these would be Colosseum forms. You know, with Hisui, they changed the name of Sinnoh. This was set before it was called Sinnoh. It's Hisui now. So it's not a Sinnohan Braviary, it's a Hisuian Braviary. Not a Sinnohan Growlithe, it's a Hisuian Growlithe. So it looks like these would be Colossean whatever. So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm stoked. I hope you guys are stoked too. Let me know how excited you are in the comments below. Like I said, we're gonna be covering the heck out of this. I am so excited. I am so excited. Fun fact, the channel actually turns 2 years old on March 2nd, which is, I'm posting this on Tuesday. March 2nd is Friday, I believe. No, it's Saturday. My apologies. So, this was a nice little birthday gift to the channel, because Lumiose post, obviously, I really like Kalos. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. We're going to be covering this all week and probably all month. I'm so excited. Until next time, I will see all of you later.